Hey, I'm here with Coach Becker from Jacksonville College out in Texas. Coach Becker, how you doing today, man?
Doing great, buddy. It's good. I'm really glad to be able to do this. This will be fun.
Yeah, man, really excited to have you on. I met you from the college recruiting board and gotten to know you a little bit, but excited to learn more. You want to go ahead and introduce yourself for the people?
Sure. I'm going to say because I'm not sure how many people out there know who's Jacksonville College. Well, we are a Division I junior college. Um, you probably know our quite significant rival, Tyler Junior College.
I
They're in.
think I've
They're,
heard of them actually. Maybe
they've
they've
probably
won a
heard
couple
of
matches, if I'm not mistaken.
them. Yeah, they're not bad.
Okay.
So we actually are about 25 to 30 minutes outside of town from Tyler. So we're in East Texas, small little campus. We only have about 200 to 250 students on campus. So we're very small, private. We're actually the only two-year private faith-based JUCO left in the state. So we have a very
Wow.
unique campus. It is a very unique campus life here. But I actually came over about 2.5 seasons ago. See, I actually grew up in the area and played little super champs when I was in 14s and 16s, and actually went to TJC, went through the professional tennis management program because I wanted to be a teaching professional. And after about 6 or 7 years, I realized this is not what I want to do. This is owning my life because I'm teaching literally all day, every day, and I don't have a life. So this is definitely not where God is going to be leading me long term. So it just so happened that a position opened up at Jacksonville College, and three different people on the same day recommended to our president, "Hey, you should talk to Jonathan Becker." And he had no idea who I was. I didn't really know him much either. So they brought me in for an interview, and it just seemed like a good fit. And that's kind of where I came from and where I am now. So it's been a fun ride.
Nice, Coach. Did you play at TJC?
I did not. No. So that'd have been cool, but the top four guys over there had ATP points when I went there, so
Yeah, and I think it's probably still that way or pretty similar.
it's not very different.
Right, right. So I guess for you, for me personally in West Virginia, we actually don't have any junior college tennis programs. So I'm not all too familiar with, I guess, the JUCO route. Have you heard of the show Last Chance U by any chance?
I have never listened to it though.
So basically, everything I know about junior college athletics is mostly involved with football from that show. And it's about a junior college, first of all, a junior college in Mississippi, Eastern Mississippi Community College. And then the third and fourth seasons are about Independence Community College, which is in Kansas.
Okay.
So I guess I know, obviously, you said you haven't coached at a D2 or an NCAA. But, how does the junior college process for recruiting work? And how do you think it may differ from other divisions?
Well, with JUCO, honestly, I actually think the recruiting for JUCO is a little easier. I'm not saying it is to find girls because obviously
It's
find
not for
girls.
us at D2 either, Coach.
Yeah, it's not easy for anybody. So I'm not gonna talk about the girl situation because that's tough for anybody, regardless of what situation you do, unless you have a ton of scholarship money that you can throw around and keep the cost down. It's very competitive to be able to get girl players into your school. But when it comes to guys and just general recruiting, we recruit very much internationally because junior colleges are a good stepping stone for international students to be able to adjust to the American education system, get adapted to our GPA system as well, and they can kind of get their grades up, get some college tennis experience, and prepare for their next experience in a 4-year college. So that's kind of what we do. We're kind of a stepping stone process, but at the same time, we're incredibly competitive. I mean, there's a lot of JUCOs that can beat D1s, D2s, D3s. Not saying all of them do, but I mean, just as competitive. We just don't offer 4-year degrees, just 2-year degrees. And I would say our recruiting process is very much digitally based, kind of as many divisions now are doing the same thing. But I can do literally 90% of my recruiting by watching YouTube videos and by having recruiters send emails to me, and I can kind of look at their videos, look at their rankings, look at their UTR. I can figure out, okay, are they a good fit for Jacksonville College game-wise? And then I can call them, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, Zoom, kind of what we're doing now. And I can
Yep.
kind of get to know them and see if they are the type of character that I would want to have on campus. So UTR, I know that there's a lot of discussion whether UTR is valuable. I think it's actually made this process a lot easier I I really enjoy the UTR process.
I
So
mean, all coaches will agree with you there. I mean, I know the recruiting agencies sometimes will like to disagree with us about that, but at the end of the day, a universal ranking system just gives us a heads up, an idea of what level a player is. I mean, they may be a 10, but maybe they're a 10-5, but roughly it gives you an idea. I know
sure,
occasionally we'll get this guy's an 8, but he plays like a 12 or
of course,
something like that. But
the number of
generally, the
times.
UTR is really revolutionized the way that the recruiters recruit, right? And coaches.
It really has. It really has. And of course, it's not a foolproof system. I mean, nothing is. I mean, nothing can be as bad as the USTA NTRP system. So we really can't get any lower on the consistency than that. But from my experience, the UTR has been pretty accurate, and it has made my life easier, and I know a lot of other coaches easier. And of course, we still go record. We do some recruiting locally. Yeah, we'll go to some high schools and kind of see some local talent, because I do like to recruit Americans. Obviously, like that would be fantastic. But realistically, a lot of JUCOs for tennis players, just by tradition, just be kind of the nature of the program. A lot of internationals are coming in because it's kind of, they see it as their stepping stone to be able to move up and get a 4-year degree. So I mean, that's a super great calling for us as a junior college, to be able to help those students transition into the next phase of life.
And it's funny that you mentioned that too about the American piece, because obviously, coming from a D2 background, it's very heavily influenced by international players as well. And multiple people, whether at the tennis club or people in the community have, talked to me about it before who aren't as familiar. And they're like, why do you have so many international players? Or, why no Americans and things like that? And, sometimes it's a little bit hard to explain. Well, there's just not that many Americans that truly want to play. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes maybe the expectations are just not realistic.
Oh,
We
exactly.
recruit tons of Americans and we're very unsuccessful at it, but you probably feel the same way in the same regard as you're recruiting tons of Americans. Probably it's hard to land them.
A lot of them decide that they don't want to play college tennis and they just want to go to a big university and just have the regular college experience. It's truthfully just the way it is. There's been a lot of great players I've tried to recruit that just said, you know what, this is a great opportunity, but I'd much rather go to UT Austin or Texas A&M or Bama. They just want to go get the university experience, and that's respectable. But the truth of the matter is that the international players have a deep pitted desire for this. Like, this is their life. They want to do this. I'm not trying to out them, because obviously there's a lot of Americans that work super hard. I mean, you look at Wake Forest team this past year. I mean, was it Wake? No, it was UT Texas that won. I mean, they had all Americans.
Yeah.
They're like a Division I national title with all Americans. So it's very evident that Americans obviously work hard and we have talent. But from my experience, from what I've seen in the junior college world, is that the internationals have more drive. They see this as their ticket. So, and that's nothing against Americans, but a lot of them would much rather go get that big university experience and maybe play some club tennis, because club tennis is still super competitive. Some of these club tennis teams can beat some of these teams. I mean, they're really good. But so yeah, it's just kind of a different mindset. I think our society is a different mindset. If you look at someone like Novak Djokovic or Justine Henin, when they came up, they were practicing tennis in swimming pools because they didn't have courts. Like, Djokovic's brother was giving up his portion of food to Djokovic so that he could eat and play tennis. Like literally, they're playing tennis to live. They're not living to play tennis. They are literally playing tennis to live. Like, there is a different kind of drive behind that kind of a culture. So, I mean, you talk about intensity. That's pretty intense, man. So it kind of makes sense to me why these internationals work so hard and they eat such a good diet. So I'm so impressed with their character when they come on campus.
It's definitely interesting to me that you bring up how hungry some of these kids are. And I think for us, especially you being a junior college coach, me being a Division II coach, the truth of the matter is most of the top Americans don't want to look at junior college or Division II programs. I mean, most top Americans are D1 or bust. And once you get past that top group of Americans, your 10, 11 UTR guys, there's a huge hodgepodge of kids that are 8, 9 UTR. And the truth of the matter is it's difficult for them to compete. I mean, you said the junior college, for those of people who don't know, I mean, the top junior colleges are stronger than many D1s.
Oh, yeah.
You brought up Tyler earlier. I mean, Tyler.
They're 13 and they're 13 UTR, 13 and 14. I mean, they're number one. They're number one from last year. Marcus Walters. Marcus is playing. Is he playing 5 or 6 at Florida State? I mean, that's no joke. I mean, that's good.
I mean, Tyler is better than a considerable amount of low major and mid major D1s, and not just Tyler. I mean, you've got the ASA Miamis and programs like that perennially beat good D2s, beat mid major D1s. So the level is extremely high, and the same for D2. You're looking at the top D2 programs. They annually beat, the lower level D1s. So just to compete at a top level JUCO or a top level D2, you have to be not just really good, but like you said, you have to be hungry. And tennis has to be the majority of your life, to be completely honest.
It really does. It really does. And and don't get me wrong, there's a lot of Americans that still play in the system. But yeah, a lot of them don't consider JUCO to be, they, as you said, they'd much rather go 4 years or bust. And there's a lot of Americans playing D3, not the fact that they couldn't play higher, but since D3s can't give athletic scholarships and they can only give academics, and plus American players are already going to get financial aid from inside of our state, a D3, which would be unaffordable for a lot of international students, just because they can't give out athletic scholarships and our GPA systems don't relate, so they can't really give out academic scholarships. A lot of Americans are going to go the D3 route, and a lot of the D3 schools are incredible, and they're gonna, they could push anybody. So that's what I've seen in our area, that a lot of the D3 schools have a lot of Americans who just decide they want to get the university experience, but at the same time get a really good tennis experience in as well. So it's pretty cool how it all works, how every school and every division functions differently.
Definitely. I mean, each division has programs. I mean, if it's a serious program, then they're going to be extremely good. And I think to the outsider, maybe some people don't know that because maybe they don't go watch JUCO tennis or D2 tennis, D3 tennis, or NAIA, but it doesn't matter the division. If you have an offer from a school that's strong, you're going to have to work really hard to even be in the lineup, let alone, contend to win conference championships and greater than that.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And yeah, I mean, even the schools that we have around here, we have, East Texas Baptist, we have LeTourneau University, there's Concordia, UT Dallas, and all the coaches there. I mean, they're fantastic programs. They really are D3, but strong, very strong. So yeah, man, it's just really cool. Just really cool how it all works out. And I'm very excited about this season too, because I actually have a couple of Americans on our roster, at least. I'm looking like I'm trying to recruit a third. So I'm trying to get everybody. Like I'd like to have a really good eclectic mix of people.
So that kind of actually leads me into my next question, Coach. What are some of your biggest factors when you're recruiting a player and how they will fit your culture? I know you look at UTR and how strong they are as a player, but you did touch on, other factors as well. What do you look for?
So one of the most important conversations is with the recruiter, because I always want the recruiter to be, especially if it's an international player. I mean, they're going to have a recruiter most of the time. And I'll ask the recruiter a big question, and that is, are they coachable? Because my biggest issue coming in to a junior college program at my age, I just turned 27. So I took this job and I was still just 25, about to turn 26. And, a lot of my players were close to my age. I had a couple of international guys who were 23, 24, 25, and they're about my age. So there's a level of respect that at my age, I was not particularly able to garner as easily. Instead of me doing the coaching, they were trying to coach me, and I think that's really one of the biggest factors I look for when I recruit a player is, am I going to be able to coach them? Are they going to be coachable? Are they going to make our team chemistry better? Or are they going to bring the team apart because there's going to be division between the coach and between the player? That's very unhealthy. And we have, and unfortunately, that was something that I came into and tried to completely reestablish and basically knock out the foundation and start it over again. And it's something I'm still working on because I'm still a young guy. And I'm still trying to earn that respect with the players. But I would say that's the biggest thing is, will they be coachable? I don't care. I don't care if they're feisty. I don't care if they're quiet. I don't care if, I don't care about that. Are they coachable? Are they going to listen? Are they going to, are they going to listen to instruction and want to get better? Because that's the whole point of coming to college is I'm the coach, is like, hopefully there's something I can instill in you that will make you a better player. So like even previously I had an experience with some of my players where, you know, obviously I'm not going to out my guys, but you know, we were trying to get better for doubles, because people who are out there maybe don't know what the junior college system is we have, we play best of 9 matches. You play first 1 to 5 wins.
Yeah,
You play,
traditional NCAA rules until
yeah,
the change in the last
except
year.
each doubles match, your 3 lines of doubles counts as 1 match each. It's not like D1 where if you win 2 of the 3 you get 1 match. I mean, every match counts as 1. So we were trying to really get better doubles. So about 2 solid weeks, the only thing we did in practice was doubles drills. That's it. We did serving and volleying and chip and charging, you know, hitting and coming in. We did all that kind of stuff. So the biggest challenge is to try to get the guys adjusted to that kind of a game style, because a lot of them were singles players. So, but we have to learn doubles. So there was a lot of frustration. There's a lot of like, coach, why are we doing this? Just like, look, guys, you got to trust me. This is just, you know, you want to go play 4-year ball after this. You need to be able to play doubles. It's just a reality. You got to play doubles. You don't want to be super one-dimensional. This is going to make your singles. This is going to make your singles better. So it's just that kind of stuff. It's a learning experience, and it's them being willing to listen to me despite me being their age, because, as I said, that's an obstacle for some of these guys.
Absolutely, coach. And you brought up the being a young coach thing. So actually, whenever I finished my playing career at Fairmont State in 2018, I ended up being the assistant coach there for the spring semester. So I actually was an assistant coach for pretty much an entire roster of guys that were my teammates for the last few years before that. And incredibly challenging thing to have to do there, because not only are you similar in age, but also those guys know you as a friend and as a teammate.
Mm-hmm.
So that adjustment right there was definitely, I felt a lot of the things you said with, you know, kids trying to listen to you and trust you versus them trying to coach you. And obviously I switched to a different school at Salem. I'm just 24. So experiencing some of the same things, like you said, you kind of have to break down the foundation and start from scratch. But I
Sure.
think for me personally, it is rewarding whenever the kids really start to respect you and treat you as just a normal coach. It's been
Yeah.
a rewarding process for me, as I'm sure it has been for you as well.
So yeah, I didn't know you were that much younger than me, but yeah, so I mean, you totally feel where I'm at. And I don't know about you, but in my experience, as of right now, it's easy for them to respect me as a person, but it's respecting me as a coach. There's 2 different avenues that, you know, it's like, oh yeah, coach is a really nice guy and we like him, but we're not going to listen to him. So
It's a totally different thing. You want, whenever the kids, you know, oh yeah, coach is a good guy, but like you want to get to the point where it's like, yeah, we trust coach out there. Like whenever it's time to ball, like we know he's got our backs and we trust him. Like we're going to listen to him. So that's definitely a cool thing to kind of start to see that transition.
it is. And kind of one thing I have working against me, unlike you, I mean, you have a lot of college tennis experience. Like I don't have that big D1, D2 college level playing experience to where they're going to be like, oh, well, how do you know? I was like, well, I mean, like, how do you know what you're talking about? It's like, well, it's kind of what I've been doing for the last, 8 years of my life, trying to train juniors to get ready for college ball. But some of them don't see it that way. So that's kind of been a struggle, but because I'm a very much a tactician. I'm very real with the guys. We're 10s, 11s, and 12 UTRs. We're not going to, I'm just like, guys, why are you trying to stand on the baseline? Why are you trying to out-hit this 14? Are you kidding? It's not going to happen. You're trying to pound this guy. It's not going to work. Like, why didn't you hit a drop shot? Why haven't you tried coming in? Why haven't you mixed up the paces? It's like, why are you trying to serve 160 miles an hour? The Sam Groth level serve. Why are you trying to, he's going to return it. It's going to come back just as hard as you got to just hit your spots. So it's that kind of stuff. But I try to instill in the players. It's like, let's play a little smarter, pick a couple more balls. Because as the new statistics have come out, I'm not sure if you follow Craig O'Shaughnessy. Do you follow him?
Just a little bit.
Brain game tennis.
Yeah.
Statistically, if you can win the 0 to 4 ball category of rallies, if you can own, because that's most of the points is 0 to 4 balls, either won or lost. If you can own that area of the game, you're going to win. So we've been trying to get better in that area. So.
And it's funny for me too. I feel like, as you mentioned, you're a tactician. Sometimes some of the smartest things I think in my head or that I tell a player, they don't really register or understand. And sometimes the simplest things I say, like, why aren't you going at their backhand more? Or, why aren't you trying to keep it low at their backhand? Some simple things like that will register. And it's like, I'm a genius all of a sudden. It's
I
just
know.
some of the funny light bulb moments.
It's like, homie, you had 27 different options and you picked the only one that was wrong. The only one.
That's a part of the growing process for these players, though, and it is interesting and rewarding to see them, go from one level. Like you said, you get a kid who's never really played doubles, and then in 3 months' time or by the end of the season, they're playing some really high-level doubles, and you feel like they're ready to take on the D2 or D1 circuit.
And that's why we were so bummed that this season ended early, is because we were getting so much better. I mean, so when I came in here 2.5 semesters ago, we were unranked. The program was, essentially non-existent in the sense of being competitive. So we went from unranked. We were ranked number 12 national to start out this spring. We played a really tight match with the number 8 team, lost 2 third set breakers, 10-8, and we ended up losing 6-3 instead of winning 5-4. So that was a bummer, but we were there. We hadn't won a doubles match, and we finally won a doubles match against a really good NAIA team. We started winning some doubles, so the guys were beginning it was beginning to come together. They were understanding the game as a whole, and then boom, it's gone. And unfortunately, that's the last time I'm going to see some of these guys, because a lot of my guys got scholarship offers to go play 4-year ball. And I had 2 guys graduate, so it's like, man, it's like we didn't get our last crack at nationals. We didn't get our chance to really leave a mark. But I'm really proud of the way that they came together and they worked this semester, because they worked for that ranking. They really did. We were giving some teams some trouble, so I was proud of them.
Yeah, and I'm feeling the same feelings as well. Our women's team, actually, we beat a nationally ranked team for the first time in history this spring on our spring break trip, Michigan Tech. And by the computer ranking system, we were going to crack the top 50 for the first time in school history. Unfortunately, that won't get published because they didn't publish the final rankings. But by computer rankings, we would have been somewhere around 45. So we were shaping up to have a really good season as well. And it's just a lot of emotion going into it whenever you feel like you're really coming together. You're playing great tennis. Everyone's playing as a team, and you just feel like you're going to do something special. And I know at the junior college level, it's even a little bit more harsh because, at most, you're only seeing these guys and women for 4 semesters. And some of them will only come for a year. Is that my understanding? Can you leave before you graduate your associates?
Oh yeah, you can. You're able to transfer. Then there really is no recruiting restrictions on you speaking to a junior college player if you're a 4-year school. A junior college cannot try to recruit another junior college player. That is a no-no. But a 4-year college can talk to you at any time. Yeah.
Yeah. So I know it's definitely, you're seeing these kids for a little bit less. For you, it's really interesting because you've had the job for how long now? 1.5 years, 2 years?
Let's see. I really came in at the very end of April of last year. So it's basically just been a little over a year, but it's been like 2.5-ish seasons, I guess, if you take it all in. I literally got them 2 weeks before nationals.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I know you talked about, the program wasn't in the best spot when you picked it up, and now you guys just finished the season, I think at number 12, you said?
Well, we're going to find out because ITA is actually posting some new rankings today. This is going to be like the final ranking of the year. So we'll see. We'll see where we finish up. But yes, Matt, improved.
Coach is sitting by the phone waiting on the rankings.
Just waiting for it.
But aside from just on the court play, you seem like in the last year or so, not only has the program improved a lot just in tennis, but also you seem like you've really developed and changed the culture there too.
The culture is huge. And it's what I tell the guys all the time. You are going to be spending most of your life off of the surface of a tennis court. You are not going to spend most of your life on it. And if I, as a coach, cannot help prepare you for life out there, if I cannot help you be a better person off the court, I have failed as a coach. I think my emphasis, of course, when I came in was, okay, let's win. But now I'm realizing the bigger picture is just like, that should not be my emphasis. Because, as all the tennis players out there know, that what we do off the court directly impacts what we do on it. And if these guys can't have a cultured, successful life off the court, be a well-rounded, good human being, Christian values, if they can't have that off the court, if they can't have stability, if they can't have confidence, if they can't have people that they know trust them and are making them better, how are they going to succeed on the court? They are not, at least not to the level they are capable of. So that's kind of the approach I'm taking with them, is how can I help make them better human beings? Because man, I mess up. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I'm still learning this whole thing. There's a lot of coaching mistakes that I have made since I have been here, and unfortunately, I've had to learn the hard way. But but that is the goal, is just to help change the culture off the court. And obviously, we're a Christian school, but we don't enforce that on the kids. We have people of all faiths come on their campus. And now obviously I do encourage the kids, because at the same time I am a college pastor at a local church, and I try to bring some of my players over there to fellowship with the members. I mean, they'll make them dinner, they'll cook for them, and it's just really great. And we do Bible studies, and they don't have to be a part of that if they don't want to, but they know that the offer is there and that I care about them and that these people care about them. So I think that's the thing, is, do people care about me? Because I don't want them just to think that the only thing they're going to gain from coming to tennis is, well, coach only cares about me because he wants me to win. That's not why I care about my players.
Absolutely. And I know when you talked about when you first got there, it's just, I got to win. Winning's number one. But, the longer you're there, you start to get to know the players. You understand their struggle. They understand your struggle as the coach. Really, the off-the-court piece becomes much more important. And to be honest with you, I've been around good experiences and bad experiences when it comes to, how together the team is. And from my understanding and what I've been around is, the more together the team is off the court, the more family-based it is, as far as, helping each other with homework, being there for each other whenever someone's having a rough time, just being an ear for someone and helping a new freshman around campus. Those things all really compound together, and they make you better on the court. I mean, I've seen teams that were absolutely talented enough to go to nationals who just crumbled because they just didn't like each other, and maybe they didn't like their coach. And it's pretty common. So for you to talk about that definitely is a good point to make. And for you especially, I think it's interesting because I know you're from a Christian-based school, and you're I don't want to get your title wrong here. What did you say? You're a college.
Yeah, I'm a college pastor. Yeah.
Yeah. And so do you guys do that on the campus, or is it off the campus?
So I actually do that off the campus. I'm also the associate dean of students at the college as well. So if there's any disciplinary issues, pretty much everything comes to me.
The fun stuff, right?
Which is not fun, especially if it involves my own players. It's just like, dude. And sometimes, like, I'll just be like, better than this. Why did you do this? But those are not fun conversations to have. But yeah, so I actually do a lot of the most of the ministry off the campus, at least the church-based ministry. We don't have a student ministry, essentially like a Christian student ministry on campus yet. That's something I definitely like.
You're working towards it, though, it sounds like.
In the future, I would like to do that. But I mean, as a Christian school, though, I mean, we have chapel on Wednesdays. We do a lot of events. We have an incredible we have an incredible faculty. We have a really great student life director. She's always doing stuff for the students. So really, there's a lot of ministry happening. There's a lot of students being reached and feeling like they are a part of the family. And I think all of them are invited to that. Of course, they don't have to, but it is there for them. So that's just, and since we're a small campus, it is very much a family feeling. Everyone knows everybody. The track team and the cross country team, they know the golf team, and the golf team knows the tennis team, and the tennis team knows the basketball team. It's like everybody knows everybody. So it's a really cool kind of an atmosphere, and it's honestly a little easier to create a culture when you have 250 students compared to 10,000. So, but yeah, so I try to do as much as I can on the campus, but at the same time, I'd like to encourage the students to leave campus, because it's not healthy just to stay in your dorm all the time. So,
definitely. It's funny because as a college coach, I like to say you only spend a small percentage of your time actually coaching tennis. I feel like really as a college tennis coach, you're more of a life coach, as far as making sure they stay on their academics, outside of how they're spending their time. And most people, when they take the job, like I say, it's maybe 10 to 15% coaching college tennis, and the rest of the time making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing and staying on top of things.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you and me know that's true of playing tennis too. Playing tennis is way more than just ability. Of course, every coach is going to say something different, but it's like 80% mental, or whatever, like whatever type of statistic or number you want to put on it. There's more to playing tennis than just playing tennis. There's more to coaching than just helping the kids hit tennis ball. I mean, it's a very huge, broad field that everyone has a different approach to. So
definitely. Looking towards the future a little bit, I know we already touched the Corona piece really on, you guys, thoughts on the season, but what are you really looking forward to getting back? Why are you looking forward to getting back to college tennis, and what things have you excited?
Man, like I'm honestly, just as a school in general, we're just excited to get back to normality. But I think that's kind of the problem, is I think everyone is expecting things are going to be back to normal in the fall. And don't get me wrong, I think within the next month or two, everything's going to be reopened. That, in the sense, is going to be normal. But there's still, because of the way I think that the media handled this virus, as dangerous as it is to people in general, I think that there's still going to be in the back of everyone's minds this underlying fear. And I don't think that normal is actually going to look normal. I really don't. I really don't think that the fall, especially the fall, I think the fall is going to be kind of like walking on ice, on very thin ice. We're going to be like, where are we going to travel? Maybe we don't want to go play this tournament this year. I think there's going to be a lot of that. And I think it's going to be very slow going. I actually think the fall is probably going to be kind of on the rough side. I say that just because I'm just being a realist here. I'm optimistic that it's still going to be fun. It's just, I think it's going to be restricted. It's going to be very much a contained kind of a fall season. So honestly, I'm just excited that we get to start the process to get back to normality. And hopefully by the spring, national seasons come along again, it'll just be like, hey, we had a great learning experience. We had a lot of time off to think. We had a lot of time to think in our academics, to be better people. Hopefully we didn't just sit around and watch Netflix. But, hopefully we can look back on this in another year and be like, this was actually a good time of growth for us, despite how bad it was and how many people were affected. Hopefully we can look back on this and take a positive from it. And also be grateful that it is so easy for us in this country that we take so many things for granted. We take our health for granted. We take all the things that we have for granted. Our food, going to the grocery store now is almost like a privilege. Getting takeout food is like a privilege. This is uncharted ground in our country. And I think it's hopefully going to spur us to realize that we have to protect that, and that we have a responsibility as people to not take these things for granted. I think it has certainly been a challenge to our country, but I think it will make us better as a people, despite it being terrible. And I know people who have been affected by COVID-19 who were in the hospital who did not handle the virus well. But I think even they would probably tell you at the end of the day that as a society, this is going to challenge us to be more ready and to be prepared, and to not take the normal things that we are blessed with as this country to have. We won't take them for granted anymore. We're going to take them as a blessing, not as something that we are entitled to. So that's the way I see it.
Definitely some powerful words, Coach Becker. I've honestly been trying to stress the same things to our kids. My favorite saying, not just in tennis, but in life, is take every L as a lesson instead of a loss. So like you said, let's try to learn something about ourselves over this time that we have. We may never have this much free time ever again, for our kids and as coaches. So let's use this time to better ourselves and really, show gratitude towards the things that we just, who cares? Like, oh, I can go to Walmart. I can do that whenever I want. Or nowadays, you got to wait to get into Walmart maybe because there's only 50 people allowed in. So just things like the grocery store and small things that you don't even give a second thought to, that you're used to, just normal. Now you kind of think about it like, like this can be taken away from me. So definitely a time of hopefully a time of personal growth for ourselves as coaches and our players as we kind of await for this to come back. I know you talked about the fall being a little bit affected. I'm hearing things. I'm hearing different things as are you probably every day. The fall will be canceled, or maybe the fall will be online only, or it's really tough. And I'm having recruiters question me almost every day about this, and I'm like, as soon as I know, I'll tell you. But I'm just waiting like the rest of you.
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm hearing the same things. I doubt the fall season gets canceled. I really would be surprised. Don't get me wrong. Is it in the realm of possibility? Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, it's in the realm of possibility. But I would venture to say that we're probably going to be having a season in the fall. And I think that's why the fall is so important too. Is this is going to be really the chance for us to kind of step out and kind of get through some of the fear, because many epidemiologists and scientists and doctors have said that by the end of the summer, this thing should be pretty much, gone everywhere in this country. So I think the fall's really our chance to shine and to kind of get back to normality, to kind of prepare for spring. I couldn't imagine just another year not coaching, not playing, because some of my international players have asked me that too. I just recruited a couple of guys. I got a guy coming in from New Zealand, a guy coming in from South Africa, and they're like, "Coach, are we going to be able to play this fall?" It's like, I hope so, but we're all in the same boat. So just praying for the best at this point, and until then, all we can do is stay safe. Keep trying to be wise, keep trying to stay healthy, keep practicing whenever we can, and hopefully, when fall comes around, we have a season.
Definitely, Coach. How have some of your men and women been spending their time? I'm sure you've been trying to keep in touch with them a little bit as possible. How have they been doing at home? I'm sure most of them are back in their home countries now, right?
They are. Let me say, for this semester, I had guys from Australia, Brazil, Spain, Mexico. We had a pretty eclectic mix, and they have all returned to their countries. They're all healthy. We try to stay in touch at least over group chat. Some of them even have been attending my virtual Bible study that we do on Monday nights. So that's been fun. So I try to keep in touch with them. Even some of the guys who have transferred technically are transferring.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that they're doing okay. But it's tough. It's really tough, especially when there's a big time difference. Because it's like tomorrow in Australia. So it's or almost tomorrow in Australia. So it's really more or less just saying some texts and doing some FaceTime with some guys, just trying to keep them encouraged, because every country situation right now is different. So it's a challenge, though. It's a challenge, and I probably can do a way better job than what I have done. So.
We feel the same way. We've been trying to stay in the group chat as much as possible. We had a little thing where everyone's sending a little message to the team about a minute long, which has been really fun, just kind of keep everyone positive. And I think for us, the hardest thing is to keep people motivated during this time, because we send out our emails with our group, our workouts, which are we had to change it to all stuff you can do at home. So our kids have access to, at home body weight workouts and things like that. And, a lot of them can't hit balls at all, unfortunately, due to the countries they're in. So that makes it tough. But we've got people in their living room sending videos, doing shadow swings and stuff like that. So just finding ways to be creative and stay in shape, because, like you said, you don't want your kids watching Netflix for 4 months in a row on the couch and then coming back in the fall out of shape. It's the worst.
There was this one guy. This is a funny story. There's one college tennis player I knew who I don't know what he was thinking, but he's a great player. He is a great player. And not as a coach. This is back when I was, 18, 19 and in college. He's a great player. Played, I think he played 4-year ball. I mean, he was good. I would say he probably would be 11.5, 12 UTR standard today. And he went back to his country for about 3 months. And we came back, and I mean, the fella put on 35, 40 pounds. It was like, dude, what did you do? Like, nothing. Like, apparently, like, what are you doing? Like, so he had to spend that whole half the season trying to get back in shape. So I think that's going to be a challenge for everybody. It's like,
You're going to have people like that. Maybe not you, but there's going to be a lot of people like that come back in the fall.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And fast food does not make that easier, especially if fast food places are open. It's like, I don't feel like cooking. I'm just going to go to McDonald's. It's like, ugh. I can literally feel my allergen-ridden body like just groaning right now. I'm gluten-free and I eat really clean, so just knowing that that's probably what's going to happen to some of these guys, it just pains me. So
there's going to be some challenges that we've never faced before, but I think it's like I said and like you said, it's going to make us better as coaches. I think in the long run, I really do.
Dude, me too. At least that's what I'm hoping for. It definitely puts things in perspective, and I think that the drive for the upcoming season is even going to be stronger than it is now. I think there's even going to be more. There's even going to be more of a hunger than even that there was, and that's hard for me to imagine. But
oh yeah, I agree. I was talking to someone about this the other day. I mean, as you were having a good season, so were we. I was extremely motivated and hungry to keep going. So now that it's been canceled, I've had next season marked on my calendar ever since, just thinking about how we can be better as a team and as a unit, and how I can be better, how my head coach can be better. So it's been definitely a time of reflection for me, but I'm hungrier than ever, I can say. And it seems to me you're the same way.
Yeah, man, it really is a time for reflection. It's like, man, like these are some of the things I did really well. In this area, I just sucked. I need to get better with this. So there's been a lot of that for me because, as you said, you're trying to establish the culture. Now I'm going to have a fresh group of guys for the most part. I'm going to have a few returners, but I'm going to have pretty much a fresh group of guys. As what type of culture do I want to reestablish? So I have a lot of time to reflect on that and think about that, just as you guys do. And I think everybody. So yeah.
Any other closing thoughts or subjects that you were looking forward to talking about that maybe I didn't touch, or maybe anything else revolving college tennis that you might be interested in talking about?
Not really, man. Just truthfully, just looking forward to getting going again and being able to, help kids succeed in life. Because that's what this is really all about. And if we ever get mixed up in the tennis side of things, that tennis is really what matters. Like at the end of the day, it's what really matters. We're missing the boat. We're missing what this is about. We have an opportunity to change a human being's lives from this moment on. I mean, that's a high responsibility. And I don't take it lightly, because I'm either going to speak life into somebody or I'm going to be speaking death. So I want to make sure that there's as much life coming out of me as possible and that they see that. So yeah, that's kind of what makes coaching even more worth it, is whether you win, whether you lose, whether you laugh, whether you cry, whether you eat at Chipotle or whether you eat at, McDonald's. At the end of the day, where are we going? Like, where are we as coaches taking our players? Are we taking them to the next place in their life to where they're going to be better human beings, or are we just making them better athletes? So, and I think there obviously needs to be a balance of the two, but so I'm just excited to be able to be around my players again and help them get ready for the next stage in life. So
some really empowering words, Coach. Something I think that I was enlightened to hear from you, and I think some other people were going to be excited to hear about from you as well. So really appreciate you coming on the Zoom conversation, man. I actually really enjoyed it, and I think I learned a lot as well.
Well, me too, man. I'm just glad it's not just, I think a lot of us as coaches feel like we're kind of isolated by ourselves. Like we're having this issue, but in reality, all of us are. So none of us are alone. So, see, if anyone ever needs anyone to talk to, feel free to message me.
Coach Becker is an ear.
Yeah, I'm an ear. I mean, what else am I going to do? So, but dude, I really appreciate you having me on. I'm looking forward to seeing where your program goes to, and of course, if I have any players wanting to go D2, I'll send them your way. So,
no problem, Coach. Excited to hear that, and looking forward to that last piece. I'm going to hold you to that.
Sounds good, buddy.
Hey, have a great day, Coach Becker. I'm sure I'll be talking to you soon.
You too, man. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. You too.